Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Gains Podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. I want to thank you so much for joining me on episode number 1. And on this episode, I briefly want to introduce you to myself and to the podcast so you'll have a better understanding of what's going on here. So what the heck is the Weekly Gains? I've had a lot of people ask me this over the past few weeks, and it's now time to talk about it. The Weekly Gains is your quintessential self-help podcast. But there's a twist, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. As the name implies, this is a weekly show, and I'll have a new episode out every Monday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Lord willing. And you'll be able to find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, if anybody still listens to Pandora. Really, anywhere that you get your other podcast, you can find this one. I'll also be sharing a YouTube video every week on YouTube, so go ahead and go subscribe there. That'd be awesome. Every episode, though, will be very short and punchy. I don't want to drag it out. I don't want to bore you to death. And my goal here is pretty simple. Every week, I want to do 2 things for you. Number 1, I want to make you think. And number 2, I want to challenge you then to take action. So every episode of the Weekly Gains will have 2 things. Number 1 is an idea. Now, this idea might come from a piece of wisdom in my life. It might come from a story. It might come from a quote or Stoic philosophy or, a passage in the Bible. But this idea is meant to help you think. I want to add value to your life every week in the form of an idea. The second thing that you'll find in every episode of the Weekly Gains, and probably the more important thing, is a challenge. And this challenge is going to be designed to push you outside of your comfort zone. It's going to be an actionable step that you can take in your life to grow. This isn't a suggestion. It's not a, hey, you should try this. No, if you're going to listen to the Weekly Gains, I really, really want you to commit right now to completing these challenges. Now, some might be more physical, some might be more mental, some might, drive you to go take action in a relationship. But the point is to get you outside of your comfort zone and to take actionable steps in your life to grow. If you're anything like me, you get a lot of self-help stuff in your algorithm on Instagram or on Facebook or on TikTok. I have guys like Gary Vee and David Goggins and Alex Hormozy. They're all sharing really good information. How to be a better dad, how to be a better entrepreneur, how to sell more product and your services. They do a great job of sharing this information. It's really good stuff. I have a lot of self-help books that I read. I literally have a bookshelf of them, and I have them color-coded. That's how many I have. I love self-help books. I love self-help podcasts. But my point in saying all this is I have all this information. There's a lot of really good advice I've read and I've learned about, but I've yet to take action. And that's why this podcast exists, because I'm tired of going through the motions. I'm tired of feeling like just existing. I want to be proactive. I want to be an effective human being for my family, for my friends, for the world. And so I'm inviting you to join me in that endeavor. If you're wanting to grow, if you are done settling and you're tired of going through the motions, if you feel that pull between where you are now and where you could be, that tension, you're in the right spot. I see you, and this podcast is right for you. Now, real quick, for those who don't know me, let me introduce myself. I am 28 years old. I'm from Northeast Georgia. I'm a very ordinary guy. There's nothing that special about me. I'm a father to a son named Benson. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, Caitlin. And, we're going through parenthood. We're learning all about that right now. Might have to bring both of them on for a show to let y'all see. But they're my people, and I love them. And I'll be talking a lot about Benson and my wife, Caitlin, as well. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a company called Gaines Productions. It's a video production company. I help brands create content that showcases their services and their products. Really fun stuff. I took that leap of faith back in 2020, and that's something I'll definitely be sharing more about on this podcast. But yeah, pretty ordinary guy. There's nothing crazy about me. I would say the most distinguishable feature about me is my relationship with Jesus Christ. I am unashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I have a relationship with Jesus. I am a Christian, and I'm not ashamed to share that. And I want to be very clear and upfront about that on episode number 1. Now, that's not to say I'm going to sit here and preach at you. That's not my goal here. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be one of those guys you see outside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium and he's saying that you're going to hell. That's not me. But I do want you to understand that the things that I talk about on this show will 100% come from a Christian perspective. And I think that's very important for you guys to know. And just a little disclaimer there for anybody who might not be okay with that. That's for you. But one thing I've sort of learned in my life about myself is that I'm a very curious person. I like to ask questions. I like to think. And so that's sort of what this podcast is. I want to think. I want to reflect. I want to be curious and learn while also taking action. This podcast is not about hustle culture. Let me be very clear about that too. It's not a grind till you die kind of thing. This is about building something real in my life and in your life. It's not about fake positivity or pretending that life is perfect. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of life. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's really great. And that's sort of the beauty, isn't it? Some weeks we'll talk about money and mindset and habits and discipline. We may talk about career pivots. I do have a little advice on that and what that looks like. We'll dive into some philosophy and some stoicism. I'm a big stoic kind of guy. I've been doing a lot of studying on that. And then once again, I'll be talking about Jesus Christ. I'm not ashamed of that. I love Jesus. Jesus loves me. I have a relationship with him. I believe Jesus came to this earth fully God, fully man. He died for my sins so that I may live with him forever in eternity. It's awesome. What a story of redemption in my life. Jesus, he's my everything. And I'm not going to stop talking about him, even on this podcast. But really, wherever life is taking me, I'm going to sort of document it through the form of a podcast. I think this is sort of a way for my son and his son or daughter to see me and to potentially learn from me. Now, let me be very clear. I don't have life all figured out. I mean, I've only been a dad for 5 months up to this point. Not very long. I know very little about being a dad. I do know how to wash a bottle. And I do know that there's like 10 different parts you have to wash, and it's crazy. And then when you multiply that, the number of parts by the number of bottles, it's insane. We just started throwing everything in the dishwasher at this point. No more hand washing. My point is, I don't have life figured out. There's a lot that I've yet to learn, but I'm curious and I want to become better. And that is what this podcast is all about. You'll notice that some episodes like this, they're solo. You'll have me right here in my office, upstairs at my house. And then sometimes I might go outside. I might venture out into the world and meet up with some people that I trust who can bring some really good insight to you guys. But the main thing every single week is going to be about application. That will always be the focus, is how do we apply this to our lives? I want to create something you look forward to every single week. Maybe this will kind of serve as a reset button or a way to boost your productivity, a moment to breathe or just reflect in the week, and sort of get intentional before the noise takes over. That's why I'm releasing these on Monday mornings at 5 a.m. So, I mean, that's pretty much all that I have to say on this episode, this first one. And like every episode, we're going to end this with a challenge. This week's challenge is very simple. If you have Facebook, you've already done step 1 of 2. If you don't have Facebook, you should consider getting it. I think there's like 7 billion accounts. You're definitely in the minority if you don't have Facebook. If you're all social media in general, that's fine too. That's okay. I understand. But if you're on Facebook, what I want you to do is I want you to search Gaining Ground. Gaining Ground is a private group that's for listeners of the Weekly Gains podcast. In this group, we will sort of dive deeper into each episode's theme. We'll encourage one another, and we'll actually take on these challenges together. I personally will share my own challenges with you throughout the week, my progress. I'll take a picture or a video to sort of document as evidence that I also completed the challenge. And I think it's really cool that we do this because the more people who do it, the more wins we're all going to see. We're going to see people breaking through in life. And I want that. I want that for you. I want that for others. I want that for myself. So this community is very important. And I really believe that if you join it and you participate and you actually take on these challenges that I give you every week, you are going to see real life gains in your life. So if you're serious about this, if you're serious about growing on purpose, go join Gaining Ground on Facebook. All you have to do is search Gaining Ground. There's a little hourglass that looks very similar to my logo for the Weekly Gains, and just hit join group and I'll let you in. So that's pretty much it for this episode. If it resonated with you, what I want you to do is just share this with one other person. That'd be super helpful. Like this podcast on your favorite streaming platform. And if you're on YouTube right now, please hit subscribe. That would definitely help a lot. I've got some great stuff coming your way. I can't wait to grow this thing and to meet new people who are like-minded and learning more about themselves and about leveling up and acquiring gains in their life. So once again, thank you so much for being here. I'm Clark Gaines. This was the Weekly Gains, and I'll see you next Monday.